After his debut victory at round 2 at Bay Park Stadium, Nico Reid went back-to-back, securing the win at the next event at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park in Taupō. Nico went into Hampton Downs with great confidence, taking the three-peat in the Evergreen Tyres Nissan S15. Even with the tyres coming off the car, nothing was going to stop Nico Reid.
Let's try to get the job done. That's drifting and anything can happen.
Well, as we head into round 5 of the D1NZ D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series in Christchurch, the question on everybody's lips is, can Nico Reid, the young man from South Auckland, make it 4 in a row? The D1NZ D1NZ, brought to you by TBC Performance Wheels, The Rock FM, Link ECU, High Tech Oils and Club Auto Insurance.
Well, after 4 rounds of the D1NZ D1NZ Pro Series, Dainham Templeman sits atop of the championship leaderboard on 255. Nico Reid just 10 points shy in behind after that points penalty. Dan Woolhouse in 3rd place, and former champ Kurt Whitaker also in the mix in 4th place. And the championship title fight is coming together. It is the penultimate round here at Mike Pero Motorsport Park in Christchurch, the Easter weekend Royal Rumble. Who's it going to be?
Christchurch is the only pro competition drift event in the South Island, and 2016 marked a big change in circuit layout. Series organisers trying to improve spectator viewing and add fresh variety to the D1NZ track lineup.
Probably does the most travel miles every season is local driver Phil Sutherland, rejoining the lineup for his hometown event, piloting the Mitch Gibbs A31 Safero.
Yeah, mate, it's good to see you finally. Saves me travelling all the way up north. Takes me about 20 hours to get there and gets a bit tiring.
Another local star is former Drift South champion Joel Counter in the Achilles Radials S14.
We've run this track plenty of times before, so I don't think we've got an advantage against any of these guys, but we'll give it a go. We'll see if we can keep up. That's, I think, the main thing. We've struggled in practice just with the car speed, so if we can fix that, I think we might be in with a good shot. I've chased a few drivers in and it catches them out, so it's, I guess that's where the hometown advantage comes in, but yeah, it's a different track. B track last year, A track this year. A track's definitely enjoyable. It's more technical, so it's, I think it'll make things tight for battles.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. It's a bit technical, and the faster you go, the more fun it is. So the boys are having a bit of trouble with before the dipper, but kind of locks you in there, but you just got to get through it, really.
While the local drivers had extra track knowledge, the likes of former champ Kurt Whitaker were ready to tackle the new Ruapuna A-track layout.
99% of us haven't run this layout. We've all enjoyed coming down here because the fast-flowing nature of Track B was always awesome, you know. It did have a little bit of advantage to the faster cars. This track here starts out fast, but then is really tight and technical at the last section of it. And it's yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to, and I can see there's going to be a lot of battles won and lost from guys probably not being able to see or running off the track. But good for the crowd, they're going to be right there, so it'll be good.
It's a very line-orientated, momentum-orientated track where if you drop your momentum, you drop your whole line, and you can wreck it from the start. If you don't go wide and then keep your momentum going, it's very stoppy starting, but I'm quite enjoying it. As you can see, a lot of the boys are still out there beating on it, having fun.
I think it was 2006 when I last drove this section, you know, so really looking forward to it. Puts everyone on a real good level, playing level. So yeah, it's going to be a good weekend.
Nah, like I think for most of us guys in D1, we don't come down here much, so this is pretty new for most of us. I think the Southern guys run it quite a bit, but I'm loving it. It's good.
Yeah, it's nice to do a different section. I was a little bit unsure until we had a run on it this morning, and you know, everyone likes a bit of variety, I guess.
Loving it so far. A lot more technical. Just gives you that little bit of catch up, I think, on the big horsepower cars. In the old track, if you sort of made a mistake in the start, it was all over. There's a lot more corners in this section and time to catch up.
Yeah, when it bogs down to the camber, just clutch it and get it up there and get that smoke huffing.
Because of that camber, you can really just power on and fly through. That's really cool. The entry is something that I think most of us are struggling with. So it feels a little bit awkward, but once you get the speed and the entry right, you can really carry that speed through and link up the rest of the section.
You need a lot of torque here, you know, a lot of clutch kicking going on, and just got to do what you got to do to get through the section.
Well, it's time now for the GoPro track rundown for Mike Pedal Motorsport Park. We're riding on board with Nico Reed and the Evergreen Tyres Nissan S15.
Standing start off the grid, and it's a right-hand approach into turn 1, a technical section with plenty of accuracy needed on the entry.
It's a weight transfer onto an outside zone for the first clipping area. Coming on through to a late apex, drivers have to be conscious about wheel drops through sector 1, setting themselves up for the next inside clip.
Plenty of throttle laid down in third gear, lots of steering input to keep the car flowing through this big double apex left-hander. Another inside clip for points. Have to be careful here not to use too much of the curbing or risk putting a wheel off and unbalancing the car as you approach the dipper.
It's a tricky switch here, hard to hold momentum but use plenty of throttle and all the track available to set up a high line on the dipper, foot flat, set the tyres to bake, and that wraps up your GoPro track preview for Christchurch.
After the break, we catch up with some of Australia's best drifters competing in New Zealand for the first time.
Welcome back to the D1NZ D1NZ Drifting Championship Round 5 from Mike Pedal Motorsport Park in Christchurch.
Round 5 also marks the first ever Trans-Tasman Drift event held on New Zealand soil, with 7 of Australia's best drifters joining the driver lineup for Round 3 of the Hi-Tech Oils Trans-Tasman Drift Series.
Australian Rob Arbolino leads the Trans-Tasman Series in his Nissan S14.
Yeah, it's definitely a big change from us coming from Australia. Obviously the tracks are a lot different, a lot more high speed, and up and down the pits is a lot more professionalism, I take it. Cars are at a higher level than what we've got, so far it's been a good thing. Completely different ball game from obviously us being at home. Just the style of tracks and the style of cars and their driving style, they're very aggressive and they've got a lot of horsepower over here.
Another one of the top stars making the visit is Hi-Tech Drift All-Stars champion Scott Shembry in the Blaze Unit 180SX.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Love being out here. All the people are really inviting. We're having a great time so far. Qualified third yesterday, so it's pretty cool. My first ever D1 event. Pumped with that. Ready for battles today.
Shembry, a huge fan of D1NZ, looking forward to competing in the series for the first time.
We always follow the D1NZ back home. You know, every time the live stream on, get a barbie at home, a few beers with the boys, and kick back and watch. So I know who to watch out for today, you know, and hopefully get on some door and have a good show.
Blaze Unit teammate James Abbott is another former Australian champion in the mix, also equally keen to see what D1NZ has to offer.
Coming here's been a bit of a dream come true. Been planning it for a few years now.
Driving his Toyota 2JZ-powered Nissan S15 Silvia, the road to Christchurch hasn't been an easy one for the former Hi-Tech Drift All-Stars champion.
We've blown a head gasket and managed to get it going in time for qualifying, but with still chasing problems with the car, so pushing it uphill a bit. Managed to put down an okay qualifier yesterday, but not where I want to be. But battles today, the boys are working on it. Hopefully we can get it going. You know, I've driven with Fanger and some of the other boys, and you know, they're all good guys, good fun to drive with. So I don't know, I guess we'll see on the day.
Pedaling the twin-turbo V8-powered Nissan 350Z is Cameron Moat, representing the Trans-Tasman Series naming right partner, Hi-Tech Oils.
Awesome. There's plenty of track time. We don't have that back in Oz as much. But yeah, really loving the track, really loving the organisation. It's just a good event. All the drivers are really they're really hard to pick them apart, so they're all going to be really tough competitors, but that makes for good driving, so that's good.
You guys opened arms, welcome us here, and yeah, just come out here just to rip it up with all you guys. So far, so good. So yeah, happy with the experience. It's been awesome. I did a little bit of homework, had a look, see what you guys are like, see what's happening. I know this is a new layout for you here, so it's a bit of an experience for everyone today. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Glenn Atkins driving the 13B Turbo FD RX-7.
Yeah, loving it, loving the track, loving the layout. You guys are, you're a bit different to Oz. Same sort of drivers, track's a little bit different. The drivers are all on point, so going to be fun in the battles.
Alex Sharker brings a unique combo to the series with a Toyota 1.5 JZ-powered Mazda RX-8.
Doing D1 and driving international is one of my, bucket list things to tick off. So here I am, give it a crack with the boys and see what happens, eh?
Time now to look at qualifying highlights from round 5 of the Demon Energy Pro Championship, and it was Australian Glenn Atkins down in 30th position in the high-tech racing fuel RX-7.
Driving the 2JZ powered Performance Automotive Nissan S14 was Matty Hill, sliding into 29th place.
It was big dramas for championship contender Cole Armstrong, the V Energy 250G out of competition with a broken crankshaft.
Luckily, Phil Sutherland, loves to own cars. He's not even driving his own car. Drainage development. Big push there, boys, drainage development. Me and Andrew Woodward are now going to dual drive Phil's C33 Laurel. We're going to balls to the wallet and just see what we can do in this thing and give it a bit of a hard time.
Normally campaigning the V Energy 250 GT, Cole Armstrong slots into 25th place.
Australian James Abbott had a rocky road to the competition, qualifying the Blaze Unit S15 in 23rd place.
Alex Sharker was another battling mechanical dramas, qualifying in 22nd position after popping a drive shaft in practice.
Drive shafts, probably the weakest part of the car. Hopefully sort out the rear end and not have these issues no more.
It was also a tough day in the office for championship contender Nico Reed. The Evergreen Tyres S15 down the order in 20th position.
Yeah, of course there's a bit of pressure, and just got to blank it out and just try to get the job done. Especially struggling out there today, but hey, race days today, bring on the battles.
Local man Phil Sutherland enjoyed thrashing his mate's car, driving the Mitch Gibbs A31 Cefiro after the Drains and Developments R34 Skyline suffered an engine failure leading up to the event.
Pretty cool to have one of your mates hand over the keys.
Yeah, he's a good boy, mate. He really looks after me and supports me, and it's a big thing to give your car away because, yeah, I'm getting a nickname for Wreck-It Ralph around here, so.
It's my man. No joking. While Phil qualified in 15th place, it wasn't without another bit of spice on track. A power steering failure sending flames out of the bonnet.
Current series defending champion Darren Kelly qualifying the High-Tech Oils R34 Skyline in 12th position.
Tom Marshall's Evergreen Tyres Nissan S15 made a return to competition after engine dramas at round 3, this time an RB25 powering his way to 10th place.
Taking out 9th place was Wellington-based Shane Giles in the 2JZ-powered BuyTools Online Nissan S14.
Two-time former champ Fanger Dan Woolhouse was the first of the V8s in the top 10. The Century Batteries Holden Commodore taking out 8th place.
Dane Templeman was looking to continue good form from round 4 at Hampton Downs. The NAC Insurance E46 BMW slotted into 7th place.
Australian international Cameron Moat had good form in qualifying to take 6th place in the High-Tech Oils Nissan 350Z.
Dave Steadman laid down a solid effort despite missing much of practice due to mechanical dramas. The Ryco 24/7 Mimico S14 taking out 5th place.
I had a bit of an issue, broken crank pulley yesterday, but thankfully a local guy here managed to supply us with a new crank pulley, and yeah, straight back out there just in time for qualifying.
Bruce Tannock topped up the RB30s with the Achilles radial Nissan S13 taking out 4th place.
Sliding into 3rd place was Australian international Scott Shembry. The SR20 powered Australian Brewery's 180SX qualifying 3rd for this D1NZ debut.
Yeah, nah, loving it. It's on song. Unfortunately, other boys had some dramas, but, you know, I'll try to hold the Aussie flag high this time.
Championship contender Kurt Whitaker again keeping up the consistency with another good qualifying result. The Autosure Insurance R34 Skyline, the best of the V8s.
But first place would eventually go to Team BSR's Brad Smith in the supercharged VQ38 Nissan 350Z, setting a fast, clean lap to take his first ever pole position in the Pro Championship.
I thought it was bankable. I think the biggest thing for me is I think probably like most drivers, we get a little bit lost in the whole competition and the pressure of qualifying. So, you know, it was good to come out here and actually, dare I say it, like actually do a qualifying run like we've been practicing throughout the day. So we knew we were capable of that. We laid that down for our first run. I thought I could have beat it, but obviously not. An 84 was our second best run.
So Brad Smith topping qualifying with an 87.5, Kurt Whitaker with an 86, Scott Shembry the best of the internationals with an 85.5.
After the break, it's top 32 battle time. Demon Energy D1NZ Round 5, Christchurch.
Welcome back to the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series. That's round 5, the penultimate round of the championship, and we are at Track A in Christchurch. It's time now to take a look at the highlights of the top 32. Shane Allen and Stewie Baker battling it out.
Stewie Baker takes the lead. Close proximity by the Rattler Falcon of Shane Allen, but it washes off, sending 2, maybe 3 wheels off track.
Yeah, it's a big commitment from Shane Allen to try pedal that big four-door around that big double apex. This track is such a high technicality circuit, and that sent Stewie Baker through with the win.
Fangadan Woolhouse up against Cole Armstrong and the unfamiliar Phil Sutherland C33 Drains and Developments Laurel.
Cole Armstrong dirt drops galore, and so too for Fangadan, but he managed to scrape on through, and the Century Batteries Commodore going through to the top 16.
Dylan Woolhouse leads the way in the NZKW C35 Laurel against Shane Giles in the Bytools Online S14.
It would be Shane Giles in the 2JZ taking victory.
Next battle, Jaron Olive Kroner in the Automotive Direct S14. Bruce Tannock in the Achilles Radials S13 closing the gap as they come through the dipper.
Yeah, Tannock held a bit of an advantage here. Jaron Olive Kroner screaming that RB26 from the right foot, but Tannock would go through and take victory into the top 16.
In the Evergreen Tyres S15, Nico Reed leads the way from Adam Davies in the Ryco 24/7 Mimico 180SX. Huge dirt drop turns the car around.
Yeah, overcooking his chicken well and truly, that 13B rotary, but Nico Reed handed an easy victory here and progresses on through to the top 16.
D1NZ Pro Dave Steadman in the Mimico S14 up against Drift South's Josh McMillan. The Southerner joining the Pro Championship for round 5. Steadman taking victory.
Next battle up was Jody Verhulst in the Milwaukee Tools GT86 fronted Supra 2JZ versus the RB in behind of Darren Kelly, the High-Tech Oils R34 Skyline current series defending champion, laying down an advantage chase run.
Well, it was a great lead by Jody Verhulst, but she couldn't quite nail the dipper. Darren Kelly taking the advantage and moving into the top 16.
Young Joe Marshall in the ATJ Evergreen Tyres 180SX giving chase to Filthy Phil Sutherland, the local man, piloting the Mitch Gibbs A31 Safiro, and not doing a bad job either at running that RB26, and Joe Marshall coming through with the victory.
Well, Joe's brother Tom Marshall this time up against James Abbott, getting his first Trans-Tasman battle of the weekend.
Yeah, Tom Marshall holding it down in the lead though. James Abbott probably still struggling with mechanical dramas, and in the end though, the battle went OMT between the two. So now Tom Marshall was given a second chance. Both of these drivers putting everything on the line. Marshall though making a bit of a mistake, although this was OMT though, and Marshall held the advantage coming in through to the last pass. Australian James Abbott doing everything he can in lead, but Marshall holding on to victory through to the top 16.
Well, it would be Jabbett's teammate Scott Shembry in the Australian Breweries 180SX leading his countryman, the high-tech racing RX-7 of Glenn Atkins.
Shembry with a pretty commanding lead out in front. That 13B rotary FD RX-7 of Glenn Atkins just not coming together in the chase though. Car just not set up to the circuit. He didn't have much practice as some of these other guys, and Shembry coming through with the victory.
Australians Cameron Mote in the High-Tech Oils twin-turbo Nissan 350Z up against local man Joel Counter in the Achilles Radials S14. Counter, qualifying in 27th position, would take victory for the mainland.
Yeah, great victory for Joel Counter. You'll see here Cameron Mote just struggling through the transition, took too much of the curb, he knew it was over. He pulled out of the drift and handed victory to Joel Counter in that Achilles S14.
Well, let's watch the replay to see where Cameron Mote got it wrong. We see Mote enter that first section, gets it wrong through the dipper, and is eventually passed by Joel Counter on his way to victory.
Final battle of the top 32, Ben Wilkinson in the Pack and Save Nissan S15. RB30 up against Alex Sharker, Australian International in the High-Tech Oils RX8. That 1.5 JZ machine didn't come together though, and Ben Wilkinson, although he had corrections out in front, he held it together and came through with a victory, an awesome start to his Christchurch campaign.
Coming into the top 16 on next week's show, on the left-hand side of the tree, Brad Smith going up against Stewie Baker, Daniel Woolhouse against Shane Giles, Bruce Tannock versus Nico Reed, Dave Steedman and Darren Kelly.
On the other side of the tree, it's Kurt Whitaker and Joe Marshall, Danon Templeman and Tom Marshall, Scott Shembry and Troy Jenkins, and then drift south, Joel Counter up against Ben Wilkinson. It's all happening next week's show, top 16. Make sure you're there and tune in. Demon Energy, D1NZ.